Monaco FP1 is done and dusted, and we had a lot of Monaco. The walls calling, the barriers, inches letting out, a lot of drivers making a lot of mistakes, and it was a good one to behold. We had Charles Leclerc, last year winner, going P1 in FP1. It was really interesting to see what these drivers came up with and what solutions, especially some of them that had learnt last year, had come up with. We had some track specific upgrades from Mclaren, from Scuderia Ferrari, Mercedes, As, Williams, RB, all bringing car specific upgrades. Monaco for me is not a place in which you bring upgrade because it's one of the tightest and closest circuits and the most troublesome circuit, like I've always said. And one of the upgrades Ferrari brought was an upgrade to Charles Leclerc's cloth. He'll be driving in white while his teammate drives in normal Ferrari apparel. And the McLaren brought their upgraded livery. Also, Ferrari is celebrating 35 years of racing with Shell in Monaco, and we still have the bouncing for the Red Bull in which they had last year that aided their poor performance. But at the end of the day, we had Charles Leclerc topping the FP1 practices and Verstappen coming behind him, while Lando Norris came in third. Albon, the Williams, really doing a beautiful job in fourth, Piastri in fifth, Russell in sixth, Carlos Sainz in seventh, Pierre Gasly always coming around to show that the Alpine are having a decent performance. And we also had Hamilton in ninth, Alonso in 10th. And we had Charles Leclerc at the point having a squabble with Alonso's teammate, that's person of Lance Stroll, which damaged Charles Leclerc's front wing. He had to change the front wing, and there was a red flag because the rubbles were all on the track. Stewards called the two drivers so they can give account of what happened. Though I believe the problem is from Stroll's pit lane. I think they told Lance Stroll, but he didn't really hear them as early as possible before it turned out and turned into Charles Leclerc. Kimi Antonelli 11th, Hulkenberg great one, Aja 13th. No, that was in more traffic than usual, but if he gets into more traffic than usual in the qualifying, it was a bad thing for him. Colapinto coming in 19. Let's see what he will do in FP2, but I want to be sure that they are not going to mess up. Alpine is not going to feel like, why did we change Jack Doohan for Colapinto? Yeah, Colapinto is having 5 races from what they said, but the team overhead, Fabian Brightroy, is saying that it is not really a 5 race deal, but what race deal will he be having? Let's see what comes up after 2, 3 more races. Great delivery from all those guys, but let's see what FP2 brings. I believe FP2 will show us the reality of where we are going to. They're having compulsory 2 stops for the first time in Monaco. Now, what will happen if there's a red flag or a VSC or safety car in the first 10 laps of the race? And Monaco will surely bring a lot of safety cars, red flag or PSC, and we can also have a Monaco rain. So when all these things come together, how will these guys be able to turn these 2 stops into a very beautiful racing? We are going to see that on Sunday and how it will pan out. Going to FP2, we'll give you more updates in FP2. The FP2 was crazy because the walls were calling. Traffic is always a situation in Monaco, and when traffic comes calling, there's no way for you to escape it. A lot of drivers got into traffic, and you saw a better performance from Yuki Tsunoda in FP2, and the best performance he had ended him in 11th, while his teammate ended in 10th, which means they are still close. Though we all know tomorrow we might see Max Verstappen popping up some good times, but the Ferrari still look decent and fast. They dominated FP2 with 1 and 3. But with this pace that we are seeing from Ferrari, which they said they've set their car to be able to hold or withstand the slow corners, because their car is not really fast in slow corners, but this time they've been able to set the car to be a little bit fast in slow corners, also deliver in fast corners. But will this car be able to dominate like we think it should? Both cars on race pace, they are looking lovely. What tire will be best for them to do the qualifying tomorrow? Ferrari are looking great for this race, and if they don't mess up their own strategy, I think tomorrow might be a game changer for them. They are going to Spain after this. How will Spain shape the season for Ferrari? They are bringing their best upgrades in Silverstone in the British GP. But for the McLaren are not looking off pace. I think everybody is not really pushing the car to the limit for us to see what they can do. Red Bull, like I said earlier, they will come up with some great times tomorrow. But will Yuki Tsunoda be closer to his teammate? Alonso did a great job while his teammate is still far back. Isaac caused the first red flag of the FP2. Just 7 minutes into the FP2, it clipped the wall and it was totally out. Almost caused third red flag towards the end of the race, but it was just by the snip of an eye, but it was able to take the car back to the pit wall. Oscar Piastri caused the second red flag, but it was not for a long time. And the walls, the speed will determine how this event will turn out. But these guys are really pushing the limit. The race will be different because there are two stops. And tomorrow, the qualifying, like in most races of the season, has determined those that can win the race. It's not being a race in which you can come from the back and win. With two stops now, it's going to be crazily different. How would the strategies pay off or pan off? Who will gamble better? Who will take the risk? What tire will best suit this race? This race is not looking like a race for the soft tires. The soft tires are not really different from the medium tires. Tire pressures will also determine some of the criteria for the strategy of the race. I think the race pans out towards the Mclaren and Ferrari more than others, and that might give them some decent points, and that would shape their season. But the Mercedes are not really looking off, but they are not really in the temperament of what we think Mercedes should be. Kimi Antonelli 9th, George Russell 12th on their best laps. And will those laps be reminiscent of what we think it should be? The qualifying for the F2 and the F3 were out there. Solov took the F2, the best qualifying F3. He won the race in Monaco last year. For the F2, they had a good one with their race going on tomorrow. But how would that be? I'll give you an update on that. But for the F1 that we are really talking about, I think it's going to be a very interesting qualifying tomorrow. Don't miss the qualifying. The qualifying will be interesting. We'll come up. Will Max Verstappen change some setup, bring him up? Will Ferrari tune up that might scatter it or make it better? Up until tomorrow for the qualifying and for the FP3 and the main race on Sunday. You don't want to miss the main race, though it's always a dull racing in Monaco. But let's see how it turns out with the two mandatory pit stops. Up until tomorrow. Love you guys. Bye. Cheers.